Jay Quellen. No Jay Quellen here? Balake. Where is Balake at? Ron.
Ron right here. Hi everyone. Bonus video today. My list of things to do videos on is just getting so long that I figured why not put up a second video. This is an excerpt from an interview that Patrick Bet-David did with Mike Rinder this week on the PBD podcast. Patrick was interviewing Mike about his new book, A Billion Years. So if you're a fan of Patrick, definitely don't miss this episode. The excerpt I want to play for you today is Mike Rinder gets asked what happened to Shelly Miscavige. And this question comes up so much, particularly on this channel, that I just wanted to play for you exactly what Mike had to say about what happened to Shelly Miscavige and where she is. Take a listen.
You can have different people disappear, competing, all these things. All of it is dark. But, I mean, one of the people that's been disappearing for a long time, that every time somebody brings it up, and Leah Remini brought it up, and hey, you don't ask about this. Who do you think you are to ask about? Where is his wife? I mean, the last time they're saying, what was the number? They said 2009 they showed up, and in 2012 or 2013 is the last time they saw his wife. It's been 9 years. Where is his wife? No one sees his wife anywhere.
David Miscavige's wife.
His wife is missing for a long time.
She has not been seen in over a decade?
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, she has been disappeared. And
I mean, I just know in the book of Bible, Enoch was taken by God. And there's a couple characters that never died. They were taken, right? I don't know if you understand where I'm going here with this one. Where is she? Okay.
She is holed up in one of the Scientology facilities in the San Bernardino Mountains, last I knew. That's where she was taken, at least at the outset. This is a very secret location that Scientology has. And it is the headquarters of a particular organization in Scientology called the Church of Spiritual Technology, which is an organization that is dedicated to preserving the writings and words of L. Ron Hubbard for eternity, etched onto stainless steel plates, held in titanium containers filled with argon gas, covered with gold, space shuttle tile material, and buried in vaults dug into the ground across the United States. But that's the headquarters of it, and it is a super secure compound. And she was taken there because she began to question the choices and sanity of her husband.
So I'm going to jump in right here. I want to emphasize what Mike just explained, that this location, this Sea Org base, is the location of the headquarters of one of Scientology's most senior level organizations, and that this organization is tasked with what L. Ron Hubbard considered was one of the most important tasks in all of Scientology. She works there, but let's see what else Mike has to say about it.
And displeased him in whatever fashion, and I talk about that in the book, and my interactions with Shelly, and one of the last interactions I had with her when she had been left at the Gold property, which is where the hole was up in Riverside County, and David was down in Los Angeles. And
so just to define, the Gold property in Riverside County, that is the location of Scientology's proper international management base. And even people that work at that secretive confidential base have no knowledge of the locations of these CST bases, one of which where Shelly is working.
I had gone to see him about something and came back, and she wanted to see me right away, and I went to see her, and she sort of nonchalantly asked, or tried to nonchalantly ask in the conversation, did you notice if Dave was wearing his gold or his platinum wedding ring? And it was like, Shelly, seriously? You're worried about whether Dave is still wearing a wedding ring? Oh shit, things are bad. And she vanished very shortly thereafter.
What year was this?
2005. And
how was she? How was she as an individual?
A lot of people found her to be, I don't know, cold and sort of nasty. I had known her since she was 12 years old on the Apollo. I had a very different relationship with her. She was always very kind to me. I talk in the book about Shelly coming to wake me up to tell me that I had to go to Clearwater because my child had died.
This is her right here?
Yes, that's her. They're not very flattering photographs, those photographs, by the way. And oddly, she looks almost, in that big one, she looks almost like Mary Sue Hubbard, a very similar look to Mary Sue Hubbard at her age. And I was going to make the point, Patrick, that L. Ron Hubbard also disappeared his wife. Mary Sue Hubbard was the head of the Guardian's office, which was the predecessor of the Office of Special Affairs, which I became the head of. Look at that.
Redhead, curly hair.
Yeah, and that was sort of similar facial feet, you know, that thin sort of...
Very interesting. I actually really want to know where you're going with the wife, because you're saying the similarities between Miscavige's wife and L. Ron Hubbard's wife. What were similarities? So she was trying to, and then she also disappeared. Why did L. Ron Hubbard's wife disappear?
Because L. Ron Hubbard's wife was in charge of the Guardian's office and ended up being prosecuted along with 10 other senior officials of Scientology for infiltrating the U.S. government. Infiltrating, like planting spies and stealing documents, tapping the IRS conference room and various other things. And she was prosecuted and ended up going to prison. Hubbard believed that Mary Sue and all these people that were in the Guardian's office had created a threat to him, a personal threat that he may be dragged into this. He was named as an unindicted co-conspirator by the DOJ in that prosecution. They could never pin anything on him because every one of the people from Mary Sue down said, oh, L. Ron Hubbard didn't know anything about this, which was bullshit. He did. But he believed that Mary Sue was now a big threat to him and that the government may be able to get to him through Mary Sue. And he never saw her again. And he never even communicated with her again. There was no written communication even. Miscavige believed that Shelly was a threat to him because for a long, long time, Shelly had been by Miscavige's side. Whenever Miscavige went anywhere, Shelly was there. She was the COB, which is what he calls himself, the chairman of the board, even though he's not actually on the board because he doesn't want to get served through corporate means. The COB assistant was Shelly, and Shelly was with Dave everywhere. Shelly was the one that hired the people for Tom Cruise's household. Shelly was the one that would accompany Dave to, well, Shelly was there with Dave and 2 or 3 other people when Tom married Nicole in Telluride. They were inseparable. Shelly then became convinced that maybe Dave was off the rails, and there are a few other things that came up with, you know, her not carrying out his wishes, and so he perceived her as a threat because if there was one person in Scientology that the leading officials like myself or Norman Starkey or Guillaume Leserve or the other people who had prominent positions in Scientology, if there was one person that people would listen to in addition to David, it was Shelly.
They trusted her.
Absolutely. Okay. And the ones like us, that, like me, that had known her for way longer than we'd known Dave, trusted her perhaps more than Dave.
Simply because you felt she was more real, she was authentic, she was straight up, and she would tell you how she feels. I mean, if you look at those eyes right there, Leah's eyes look very confident, happy, chill. Her eyes, you can tell there is, you know, just anguish. Like
that's the wife right there?
Yeah, to the left. You can see there's some...
Can I ask a quick question about David Miscavige?
All right. Well, once they get off the subject of Shelly, they never get back. So that's all that is said on the subject of her in this interview. You know, one of the points that was made by both Mike and Leah in the Scientology and the Aftermath show about Shelly and about the location where she works is that even though she's working at a location where it would be very physically difficult for her to escape if she wanted to, that Shelly is one of these people who was raised practically by L. Ron Hubbard, and is one of these people who believes L. Ron Hubbard is supposed to come back. He's supposed to reincarnate and come back to resume running Scientology. And that Shelly is one of these true believers who wants to still be there when L. Ron Hubbard comes back, and that it would be a betrayal of L. Ron Hubbard if he came back and Shelly had already dipped, regardless of what a tyrant and a psychopath David Miscavige is. It's sort of a popular belief, I think, that Shelly's literally being imprisoned against her will. But even in the show, Mike and Leah say, you know, even if the authorities showed up and spoke to her privately and asked her if she wanted to leave, her answer would almost certainly be, no, she wants to stay. So definitely something to keep in mind. All right, everyone, I hope you liked that clip. Check out the full interview at Patrick Bet-David's YouTube channel. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe